right. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are going to be jumping into a potential severe threat tonight for portions of Illinois and Indiana here. And I'm going to go over the hour by hour potential radar, what it could look like here as we go overnight into tomorrow morning, as well as our overall threats and areas that we're kind of concerned about. So, first and foremost, this is your SPC severe risk category. We see a darker green area known as a marginal risk. That is a very low end threat, but a threat nonetheless. The areas around that green will be a lighter shade of green. That's going to be your just general thunderstorm, no severe risk, anything like that. So, your dark green is the only really area we're really concerned about for severe weather. Now, this is for Indiana, so areas like Lafayette, all the way up toward Gary, those areas in particular. Then over here in Illinois, areas like Peoria, Bloomington, Kankakee, and Champaign there have the best potential for seeing some of these stronger storms. Now, the only threat that we're really concerned about tonight would be hail. Not concerned about wind or tornadoes at all with this environment. It's just going to be a very cold core type of system here, a lot of cold air aloft that these updrafts could tap into and create some hail that could get up to about quarter size or so around that particular size. But if we look into we dive into the models a little bit here, we kind of get a better idea as far as timing and areas here. The latest HRRR model, it's a high resolution rapid refresh model we look at that really just kind of tells us an hour by hour look at what storms could be doing at what points in the state and so on and so forth. Now we zoom this forward into these overnight hours. We start seeing some showers and storms developing here in northern Indiana. This is midnight tonight. That's going to be Eastern time, so 11 p.m. Central time. And then this is going to be moving into the overnight hours. We see more showers and storms developing along the same area here back into north central Illinois, all the way up into northern Indiana, even in southern parts of Michigan here along the I-94 corridor, getting in the action with this. So there could be some potential for some stronger storms within these initial bands here between, I'll say, midnight and say sunrise or so. This particular model here is really starting to get the gist of the stronger storms right around the 2 to 3 a.m. Central/Eastern time. So those are going to be your main areas of concern here. Going back for people who have just joined us here, the SPC risk does include north central Illinois as well as northwest central Indiana. So that's going to be a risk for hail only up to quarter size, potentially a little bit larger. But again, the quarters are really what we're kind of concerned about with this. So overall, low end threat for that. And again, overnight tonight, definitely a possibility with these storms that move through. Now, a lot of people on our page have asked us how next week is looking like. We went over it last night. We'll go over it again very briefly here. Again, it's just a trend we're kind of watching here. We do have a system that's going to work towards our area right around that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Now, our main concern is going to be timing with this. There does appear to be good instability with this particular system, although there could be some fluctuations between the models. Some of the models don't bring the instability we need for storms up far enough north. Other models bring it far enough north for the entire region to have a severe threat. So overall, we're kind of still in the kind of watch and wait mode with this. But overall, go ahead and jump into the models here. It's a warm week here, unless you're in the UP of Michigan, northern Wisconsin. You guys are going to be stuck in the 40s, maybe reaching 50 early next week. But again, for the most part, most areas will see 50 degrees here. We see here, this is your temperature graph. Yellows, oranges, and reds are your warmer colors, 50s, 60s. Greens and blues are going to be your 40s and 30s. Now, moving into early next week, we see the system off here to our west. We see a center of the low pressure over Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota. It's going to swing a cold front through on Tuesday, and then that's going to spark off showers and potential thunderstorms here in a decent environment. We look at four things for severe weather: shear, wind shear, lift, instability, and moisture. We call it SLIM. So what the main thing we look at with this though is what are our shear profiles and what are our instability profiles looking like? So first and foremost, our instability profiles here, this is your instability model. We move this through, we see purples and blues there indicating we do have a good amount of instability here within the Great Lakes region, Illinois, Indiana, southern Michigan, southern Wisconsin, western Ohio here. Now this model is actually pretty subdued in compared to some other models that do show more instability. So this is kind of a conservative model that we're kind of looking at right now. We'll dive into it further as we get closer to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But overall, your instability is going to be there according to most models that you look at. Now, the other thing we're going to look at is our wind shear. What's our wind speeds doing? How is it going to overlap with instability? So we go ahead and move into the Wednesday time frame here. We see your greens and yellows here are your wind shear. We saw the instability here across Illinois, Indiana, southern Michigan, southern Wisconsin. We see a good overlap here of wind shear that could potentially spark off some showers, thunderstorms that may be severe next week, particularly on Tuesday, but also could be a chance on Wednesday and maybe even Monday further west, maybe towards Iowa, maybe Western Illinois, Northern Missouri. Those areas may touch off some severe storms as early as Monday night. But again, I think the main risk here for the Great Lakes region is going to be on Tuesday, particularly Illinois, Indiana, South Michigan, South Wisconsin, Western Ohio, likely going to have the best chance as of now. Again, that could change. We don't want to lock that in just yet, but that's what we're kind of seeing as of right now. Another thing we're going to look at here is our moisture. We'll end with that. As far as timing goes, just going to throw out a general idea again, that Tuesday time frame, give or take a few hours, and that's going to really matter how the timing plays out with that too. But overall, the dew points, moisture, going to have plenty of dew points, plenty of moisture streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico in the area. We could be seeing mid 50s, maybe as much as 60-degree dew points, very moist atmosphere here. So the combination of all this coming together with a sharp cold front coming through does have the potential to trigger showers and storms that may be strong or even severe Tuesday, particular of next week, but it could happen Monday or Wednesday. A lot to play out, a lot to kind of watch and wait. That's your gist of it. So I hope that covers everything. For those of you who are watching, if you guys have questions, feel free to drop those in chat. I'll go ahead and answer them. But otherwise, that's all I have for you. Again, the severe threat is tonight for the majority of central Illinois, as well as north central and western Indiana. That's going to be strictly for hail. And again, a potential severe threat early next week, Tuesday in particular, but could see it on Wednesday and Monday, depending on how everything plays out. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop your questions in chat. I will answer them privately after the stream here. Otherwise, I'm off of here. Stay safe, guys.